Nervous system dysregulation. I'm not sure if that sounds confusing because it kind of has a common sense theme to it. We all know that your nervous system runs our body. It kind of regulates literally everything. We are aware of that in the 1800s when chiropractic first started, and now with much more research in the industry or in the science of neurology, we know it does literally everything from your immunity to your emotional regulation to obviously coordination and muscle tone, what we call the motor system. But your nervous system literally runs the whole thing. Now, I always want to start with that conversation on the nervous system like this. When you were born, God gave you 3 jobs. It's how you eat, it's how you think, and it's how you move. The rest is already set in motion. Everything you need, you already have. You are wonderfully made. So all we have to do to be our most successful in life is to pay attention to those 3 T's, which are thoughts, toxins, and traumas, or how you eat, how you think, or how you move. Now, the other critical point of that is that your nervous system needs to be as close as possible to its potential for 2 really common sense reasons. Your nervous system is a giant sensory system, so it is constantly picking up the environment. And it then helps your body regulate its physiology to adapt the environment. Kind of, again, I think common sense for most people. And the second thing about your nervous system is that it really helps you resolve challenges. So a super easy example is pain. So if you step on a piece of glass and it hurts and you pick up your foot real quick, well, there's a solution right there. If you didn't feel it, it would be a lot worse. Now, you can get upset at the piece of glass. You can even get upset that it hurt. But in reality, it is our way of protecting ourselves. So our nervous system controls and regulates every system, every organ, every cell, every function in our body. And it keeps us from harm. So when we have this nervous system dysregulation, keep in mind that's a spectrum from a little teeny bit to all the way, completely devastating. But if it happens, or when it happens, let's back up on that a little bit. When it happens, I want you to understand that I believe we are so well made, sometimes even I wonder, if I did my 3 T's really, really well, why do I need to be adjusted? Why does my nervous system need to be tuned up or regulated, if you will? Has it been dysregulated? Well, technically, yes. The only thing that we can put directly into nature's path is the birth process. Because even a perfectly healthy vaginal birth without intervention, a mom whose social environment is beautiful and everything is just at its peak, we still have high incidence of dysregulation of the upper neck based on just the physical trauma of going through the womb. So we really weren't designed to be literally even in a swing set, or to certainly be on a bicycle, or to ski down a mountain, or to be in a car and to have a physical accident. I mean, we're doing things in our body and with our body that if you think about it, it's really kind of outside of the natural plan of what our body was supposed to do. Essentially, we're designed to kind of, hunt and gather. We're designed to search for our food by walking around. We're not really designed to have fun. Well, that's not true. But we're not designed to have the fun that you and I think about, like, motorcycles and skiing and those kind of things. Those come at a little bit of an expense. But keep in mind that Dr. Jim would never suggest that you don't have adventure. Matter of fact, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. So I understand that if I am going to be more physical than my body was really designed for, to travel at speeds greater than I could run, if you will, to experience gravity in different ways, skydiving, skiing, etc., really not how we're planned, there's kind of a consequence to that. So technically, you can look at all of these behaviors as an incredible opportunity to really, really enjoy life, but the consequence is you're going to start causing physical misalignments of the spine that we call subluxations, and those need to be addressed. It's as simple as that. You could either live in a glass bubble and never need a chiropractor, or you can have an adventurous life, a fun life, you can pursue things, and you're going to need a little bit of help to re-regulate your spinal alignment. Hopefully that's a fair exchange. So I want you to know that if you're really athletic, incredibly coordinated, and you don't even have any sense of any disease or any dysfunction at all, you believe that you're emotionally regulating yourself, you believe that you have high immunity, you have high digestion, you have a regular bowel movement, everything is really working well for a female, super regular cycles on timing and flow. It just all feels like it's really, really designed well. There is still an opportunity to work on who you are with the attitude of potential. Now, there's a lot of us that are so far off potential. We don't sleep well, our gut doesn't work very well, we're way too anxious, we have headaches, we have literal pain in our muscles along the spinal column, back and neck pain, because the body is in a dysregulated sense, it is not balanced, and it really needs help to find its way home. Keyword home. Because I really believe that our bodies are so well made, if we take care of them, certainly as non-invasive as we can, that you're going to be a healthy, vibrant person your whole life and literally avoid disease. It is definitely available for all of us. So this nervous system dysregulation commonly shows up in infants. What we don't want to see is the fussy infant. What we don't want to see is the child that will not basically be able to get on the breast. What we don't want to see is the infant that, is a poor pooper. It's just not regulating their gut very well. This is on our first step of human development. The second, third, and fourth, and ninth step actually are different developments, but it really can be seen in the very first step of development. Second comes our immunity. So these are the 3 or 4-year-olds that have chronic ear infections. If we have these challenges, if they're evident, these can easily lead, because of nervous system dysregulation, into things like anxiety, things like ADHD, things like learning disabilities, dyslexia, on and on. So we are different. We are not standing out that we are better than or more special than, but we definitely stand out that we are distinct and different from the medical profession. Keep in mind that Dr. Jim is a high medical advocate. I have testimony that probably matches many of yours on lives being saved, etc. The difference, though, is that we really look at the subtle differences in how your body's functioning. And we look at it exclusively through your nervous system function. So when you have nervous system dysregulation and your child is fussy or a poor pooper or maybe getting anxiety and things like this, most medical doctors, even the best of the best, will say they'll grow out of that. Well, no, you won't. You'll actually grow into it. Now, maybe the poor pooping goes away, maybe the fussiness goes away, but now it's transitioned into a different challenge, like a learning disability or a poor ability to regulate your emotional stability. Sometimes you get even what's called oppositional defiance, where the child just, graceful on the child, but they don't really know how to regulate their emotions. So they become, disobedient. They become oppositional. Your child could be defiant, even disruptive. But I want you to understand that, I know there's a point when our children have to make decisions for themselves. I get it. There's a time when, even if they're doing their best, they don't know how. Because their system is so high wired. Think of a car's RPMs. These children, they're just running at 8, 9, 10,000 RPMs. And so there's constant noise in the system. They're just flying through their brain. They can't settle down. This is when we can be defiant. This is when it's difficult to really understand, why is my child operating this way? So it may sound oversimplified, but literally these behaviors could have stemmed from the challenges from birth, which is as simple as gut, and then immunity, and then emotional regulation. It all goes in pattern. It's the way their body was made. So my attitude towards health is not just to survive, but to thrive. What is the potential of our children? What's even the potential of myself? I know that for me as an adult, I have to pay very, very careful attention to the words I use, the attitude that I have. I have to pay a lot of attention to my patients. But a child with nervous system dysregulation doesn't have that maturity, so you got to give them grace on that. They may have a sense of it, but they really haven't fully developed it. But on top of that, they really can't regulate their emotions. They are just really out of control. So I want you to know nervous system dysregulation literally affects all of us from a very small part to a very significant part. And these very, very severe cases, which kind of follow the same neurological pathway, can literally lead all the way up to autism and seizures. So this isn't some kind of hypothetical theory. This is reality. And the only way to really address this is to minimize the structural stress of neurology on the spine through careful, well-adjusted spines. So what's really, really important is that since this nervous system dysregulation can show up in literally all of us at any given time, certainly to a little bit, certainly to a lot, which can lead to much more serious conditions such as autism and seizures, these are critical to understand that they're actually in the same neurological pathway of even something as simple as colic. So we need to be proactive. We need to be ready to go to that next step to help our children, to help ourselves reach our full potential. Now, attached to this video, which I've done many, many times, I'm going to also attach a video from Dr. Tony Ebel in Illinois, and he explained what I just explained, but in his own special way. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I want you to know that I believe that everybody is perfectly well made, and if we understand that our nervous system needs to be regulating its potential, and then our three lifestyles, how we think, how we eat, and how we move, are performed well, you're going to have a very prosperous life. Thank you for your time.